As the weekly candle closed, we started getting volatility. The price action moved from $43,000 towards $42,250. That's a good thing in my thought process. But if you do look at the altcoin segment, say you're looking at Ether, you have not yet seen a drastic drop. You look at XRP, it is still at that same range, zero point 0.5. You did not watch the price dropping hard, which is a positive news because the dominance is still at that range. This is positive. If you understand what the price action is doing, it is taking resistance at that range of 52.8 or say close to 53. What does that actually mean for the price action? Because in the market, the news, the narrative, whatever you're observing is still evolving. And one of the primary thing here is the fundamentals are only increasing. We all understand that, especially when we talk about Ripple, when we talk about XRP Ledger, it doesn't actually seem like it's low. Yeah, the thought process is something big is going to come. We all understand that. But the question is, when would such a move in XRP come? No one knows. We're trying to see what the market shows us. Remember, we had this thought process for Bitcoin just a few days back, where we were discussing the possibility, saying, I think the price action in Bitcoin should go higher to test this. Fine. The moment we did that, we reached there. I discussed about this possibility. Guys, watch this. We need to see the price coming back down there. So that was 2 days back. Then we followed it up, breaking through different levels to give you guys better confirmation that this is something which we really need. And if you go in the price action of Bitcoin right now, that's what you're watching. And the benefit of following it up is that you get to see the opportunities. You get to see what the price action is showing, and you get to see how the price is reacting. Some of them are already up like 200, 300%, and the market is responding. So what does this actually mean if this is going to play out? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Let's dive into the segment of what really is going to happen. No one actually has 100% odds for you, but just what we saw here is 42 to 50. That's the range which the price came down to and bounced off. So what was that idea which we were watching? 42 to 30, close to that. We wanted to see this happening in the price action. We were focusing on that. We were following it up. Now that we saw that the price came close to that range, what should we actually anticipate in the market? Being honest, we need to see the price bouncing off from this particular level. But primary concern should be on, okay, while we are dropping to the downside, what do you see in the macro chart? I would argue that this is super important. Now, why? The weekly close just came in. So the confirmation of what the weekly looked like is here. So weekly closing here means what? Does that show some positive movement? Does that show some negative segment? These are all the concerns. I agree. But right now, what we should focus more on is the fact that we tried going up, or the bulls tried pushing the price higher, but they failed. Then the bears came in, they pushed the price lower, they failed. So we really would like to see this range being retested and then bouncing off. This is the worst case scenario which I would like to see. So what this would do is it would go back down, liquidate a lot of bulls who are highly levered. One. Now you zoom in. Okay, if that's the scenario, what are you really looking at? On different sides, which is especially the price versus the volume. Does that actually match? So here, you're watching like, okay, last day we had increased level of volume on the seller side, and the price respected that. So the market is saying, okay, bulls understood that fact and they stepped aside. They let the bears win that battle. So right here, right now, when you look at this range, you're like, okay, fine. That means the price is still inside this. Nothing has changed. Yes, we did fake out to the upside and to the downside. But if you look at the price action on a short term, this is still your short term trend line support. This is what you're watching. So can the price bounce off from here? And if we do bounce off, what's the level of resistance which we are watching? We have one, which is a micro pattern like this. We have another one if we do break that to the upside. But that's a little bit optimistic. That allows you to go through 44. That allows you to go up to 46. But what are we going to do? Right? This is going to be that one thing which we all really want to understand. So you go on a monthly chart. Here you are, you're watching like, okay, last month has been a long doji. We didn't do much, but the end was like, okay, we closed in positive. Fine. This month, compared to that, we haven't done anything. Now, it's only been 4 days, so we have a long way to go. So that shows you we're just starting for this month. So if you are panicking with the current price action, that's going to take you a long time to recover because the price can still drop. There is still a possibility that the price action is going to come down, retest these levels. What would be the optimum thing which we all want to see? That is where we look at the Bitcoin dominance and see we want to see the altcoin market moving up. So for that, we need the Bitcoin dominance retesting here and failing. It get rejected there. That's the best option which we want. So when we are looking at that, we would put the argument, okay, this is what XRP is doing. We haven't actually changed anything. We're still here. Yes, that's boring for sure. But if you do understand all these times on a weekly chart, on a 21-day moving average, when the price dropped 15-16%, that used to be the local bottom, or the extreme cases, it's like 23%. Fine. So that's after the Terra Luna crisis, including the FTX issue. So that was like the 23% drop below the moving average. We have seen those. So the average is like, say, 20. If that's true, then we can put the argument like we have already seen that 16. If we are going for that extreme end of 23, then we would like to see the price go down towards 0.44. Now, is that too hard? No, I wouldn't say that because we have already seen those range of price action happening. But the average has been completed. That 16% drop below the moving average, it's done. Now, you go back on a monthly chart of XRP and you see that the price action is just above the 21-day moving average. Remember, historically, we take that as a resistance, then as a support, and you bounce off from there unless you break that to the downside. But it does not break it to the upside or downside just in the first attempt. Here, you just broke that to the upside, retested, and you're trying to bounce off, you fail. Now you're retesting that. So a bounce from here gives all the confidence in the world to say, okay, we are breaking through the range of 0.7. We are now starting something really great. But as of now, it's still at the bottom of that range. So for anyone who is here in the market looking at this, yeah, this is painful because you get one candle to the upside, then all these candles to the downside. Yes, that gives us the clue that bulls are strong. You're going to go back up. Now the same thing is repeating. But even though it's repeating, the price action is in a range which it has been there for a long period of time. So people tend to be frustrated. We understand that. That is why when we go into the market, we ask you to look for opportunities. You need patience, you need discipline, but you can see all these opportunities in the market, whether that's a medium to long term. Now, being honest, I never thought like this is going to blow through in a week. I was expecting more like a month or two to do a 3 to 5x. Now we are already hitting that 300%. Close to that price action is already done in this asset, right? So the SI family get to see this, to educate themselves about what the market is showing and what all of those actually means. Whether it's the divergence, the hidden divergence, the bullish divergence, all of these things, we go through them, all of them, so that you understand the opportunities in the market. You understand what's the red flag. When you are in the market, all of this becomes super important, especially in such a market like crypto. Here, everything is manipulated. Whales, financial institutions, all of them have open access to do whatever they want to do in this. Once you understand the fact that, okay, the market is a little bit crazy, you're watching like the UK, the US going through bumping on one side, which is the Middle East. You already have the Israel issue going on. You already have the Ukraine issue going on. So things are not looking good, right? At different part of the world. But you're not actually watching the safe haven asset going up. It's consolidating in that range for some time. That's interesting because you're watching dollar is going nuts. It's now at 104. So if you are like, okay, fine, we are now watching that the weekly is showing I may cross to the upside. Last time it showed that possibility, it was here. It got rejected. The next time it showed I'm going to cross to the upside, it was almost close to the top. Not the exact top. It still went a little bit higher before it consolidated back down. If that's true, then most likely we'll see a small burst here and a little bit of correction. But is that going to happen this week, the next week? Who knows? This is the history and the price action which we are trying to learn from. And when dollar is strengthening, yeah, obviously assets trading against it should be slow. And that's exactly what we are watching here. So we would really like to see the dollar coming down, but it's not happening right now. In front of us, what's happening is the dollar going up. Yes, there is a possibility that we may slow down. But right now, you're watching the possibility of Bitcoin going up. You want to see that playing out. But if you do look at the price action, you can put the argument like we have seen something like this before. We have seen something like this. So after 2 candles, you had a big drop to test your previous week low. Now for us here, the week low is the moving average. So 41,900 is not a bad area to be in. We have already seen somewhat really close to that range. What does that mean? From that point, it's another 1% drop in the market. Will that hurt a lot of people? No, I don't think so. If you are 10x, 20x, 50x levered, yeah, that's going to hurt you. But if you are an investor here who have balanced risk to reward ratio, then it's not going to kill you. What it will do is to open up more opportunities for you if you are looking to load up your truck. So once you do look at this and say like, okay, I'm watching that this asset is not dropping below 0.5 for all these reasons. Whatever it is, whatever the market is doing, a lot of panic is happening, but this asset is still sticking to 0.5. The drop we saw earlier in Jan was still 0.5. Now we are at 0.5. The last drop was close to 0.5. So we're kind of surviving at that range, or some people, investors or traders, believe that this asset is undervalued in this territory. They are buying this asset in this territory. Previously, the same range was acting as a resistance. So this is a huge relief to see that the market has flipped. They're not selling here, they're buying here. So if you understand that fact, market is on your side. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button for me. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.